Hello everyone and welcome back to City Skylines and of course to the Green Cities DLC, where we have a number of positive things we need to do, namely and possibly more importantly, we need to expand our residential area. We also, looking at it, need to address quite a few of the issues over here. I mean, that does seem to be making some sort of tiny little difference. I'm really not sure. But one thing we could do is remove these two, replace them with yet another water treatment plant. Maybe. We're actually not too far away from reaching our next milestone, which should unlock some better options for us. So, instead of that, how about we have a look here? Now, are there any actual decent beaches over here? Not really. Most of the beaches are on that side. So this side, maybe not. We could perhaps create some sort of access here if we were particularly inventive in how we got down there. So should we take this along is the question that's burning in my brain. And I'm thinking, yeah, we should. Let's go ahead. In fact, it's getting to the point now where this may actually be better as a triple lane road. That being said, before we make that kind of decision, let's have a quick look at what the traffic is like along that road. Actually, you know what? This road, not so much. These ones on the inside, very much, but not this one. Okay, well, we'll take that under consideration then. We won't place down a bigger road than is necessary. So, the first thing then, we're going to do away with that beautiful little curve there. I am sad to see it go. And now we are going to take these ones out much further. We'll probably create a link there. And the same here. And we'll just have these meet up. There we go. Now, question is, how are we going to proceed around this area? You know what? I'm thinking that maybe we want to have a bit of a bridge. So, as always, drop it down to increments of 3. That should be good enough. And straight across. And then down by increments of 3. There we go. Nice little bridge over the trains. Now, this bridge is going to be a little bit more tricky. Let's start it from the same location, though. Oops, I think we went one too far there. I was a little bit over-eager with the page up button. There we go. It happens from time to time, must be said. Can we just get this over there? That'll be one. I mean, we could have it hook up almost. We brought this to here. That's half. That's 1.5. Okay, yeah, that isn't actually too bad. And then we bring it down 1, 2, 3. The main thing that I want to avoid is having the ramps different lengths. I know that seems so silly, and it is. You'd be right to call me on it, but it is what we've got. There we go. And so we've now got a nice little connection over there. We can build out near the train line if we so choose, and I think we do so choose. I'll be perfectly honest. I'm fairly certain that we should choose. In the meanwhile, though, let's go ahead and set up some more commercial along these areas here. A little buffer of commercial. In fact, we've already got the pipes laid down. Glorious work. There we are. Even if I do say so myself, well done me. And we could perhaps have a little more of a buffer back there if we really want to. But at the moment, I'm reasonably happy with what we have. That being said, actually, I'd rather... No, sorry. I was a little bit too late in fixing that mistake. But there we go. It is now fixed. Sorry. You're going to build just to be torn down. Oh, what a life. Okay, right, let's get this moved right over to the edge. And then from in here, we can start building out a little bit better. Though quite a few people have expressed their deep concerns about our overall fire safety. And I mean, looking at the evidence, you're not wrong, unfortunately. Alright, well, we can have a look at the fire stations. We're actually hemorrhaging a lot of money right now. I'd rather build up before we get too engrossed in correcting our fire station issues. So let's go ahead and draw this out. We want a bit of a curved road, I think. Something coming up along here. Might be actually quite nice to have that go straight down and connect. I think that would be rather glorious. I mean, it's not... maybe not quite where we want it to be yet. Can this support thing? Yes, it can. It can do it if it wants to. And now, unfortunately, it never really does seem to want to go all the way. You know what we could do, though? And I think would be kind of nice. Let's just have a little path connecting these two up then. If you won't go all the way for me, let's do this instead. It's not quite where we want it because, unfortunately, that little connection is a little bit finicky. So let's get rid of road guidelines and just draw that down. And maybe we'll create a little path area back here. Something... Oh, that connected in a way I really wasn't expecting. I'll be honest with you, did not see that one coming. Let's draw this out in a bit more of an organic way. Something like that. There we go. And we can drop in a couple of odds and sods. You know the drill by now, I'm sure. So I'm not going to bore you with too much of it. We'll tidy that up at some later point. But that's just to give me more of a guideline on where I don't want to have zones. Right, there we are. Now, everything else in this little area can be built out to our heart's content. And I'd actually like... Sure, we're going to have a straight road just branching out here and then curving quickly to the side. And maybe not that aggressive of a curve. Something more like this. And then, yeah, just a couple of little spots here and there. This is a rather nice street there. And down here, we're going to have the less nice ones. Oh, bless them. I'm sure they're as proud of their houses as the next person, frankly. So, well done you guys. Right, let's pop this one right there, all the way up. Again, big fan of these terrace builds. This one in here, though, I think we could do something a little bit more interesting. How about we have... Sure, we'll bring that out. And then have just a little grassy curve in here. 2 out, 2 up. There we go. Perfect. No, not perfect anymore. No, work with me. No, take away the grid. 2, there we are. Come on, no. There we go. My lord, sometimes you really do have to struggle. But we love the game, so it's okay. We will definitely decorate this little area a little bit better. Because I'm not too fond of the sort of sandy transition between grass and street. Not a huge fan of that, honestly. It looks a little bit too much like a construction site, if you ask me. But that actually looks quite nice in there. Right, now, as for the roads... You know what? I think we can just have plenty of buildings branching off there. We'll have a little grassy road maybe connecting up here. Actually, instead of a grassy road, how about a path? I think that would be lovely. And we'll actually make it a fairly low-key path. So not a full like pavemented path. We'll have more of a... This is going through a park kind of area path. Little crossing there. X marks the spot. We'll pop down 1 tree. I'm going to try to... 1 tree and a rock. Come on, that's a fair deal. If you ask me, 1 tree and a rock. Can't say fairer than that. There we go. Alright, so this is actually going to be a fairly non-standard little area, and I'm quite keen for that, frankly. Let's... Over on this side... I'm going to go for a regular curve somewhere about here. Just want to bring you up and around. Then curve back a little bit. Something more along these lines. Let's get that back there. There we go. It's going to give us a couple more options. Down here, though, we want straight roads. All the way down. Actually, to about the point where we're going to connect up over here. So let's get that drawn out. There we are. And straight across. Marvellous. Okay, we're creating lots of nice little areas, I think, to give us a bit of a more interesting feel to the city. This one will be a block, however. Because again, you don't want to completely remove blocks. Otherwise, it becomes conspicuous. Your lack of symmetry and blocks become the eyesore that you're trying to avoid. Let's get you going all the way over there. A regular path. There we are. And we'll have a couple just connecting little areas throughout. Let's just take that up in a more of a direct connection sort of way. At the back of the terraces, we'll have new connections. And same down here, just have one connecting up there. I think maybe down here as well, though we'll have this one be a bit more of a curve. There we are. I hope you don't mind me keeping you with me for today's road design. I do quite often cut that out, but every now and then, much like you don't want to only have irregular roads, you've got to mix things up a little bit, otherwise it gets a bit stale in my opinion. Right, now then, this area is probably going to hurt us a little bit in terms of, well, a little bit is probably an understatement. It's going to cost us a lot in terms of our water infrastructure. I'm not sure we're quite prepared for the amount of water this area is going to suddenly require that our city be producing. Actually, that's not a bad connection. It looks awful. But it does the job, I guess. Right, now if we position this correctly, yeah, that's actually decent. And then one little bit down there, because the pipeworks gotta have the same thing as the irregular. No, they don't. The pipeworks just follow the roads, and I've completely forgotten how to lay pipeworks. Hopefully you can forgive me in time. Right, okay, so over here, I want regular little houses. We'll actually have a little island of low density, but around the sides, about here, we're going to have higher density buildings. Something like this, I think, would be fine. Around here, though, as I've mentioned previously, I want the low density to kind of move away from the central, highly developed hubs. So that's what we're doing here. We're just making sure there's plenty of low density, and this one can actually keep the Firewatch Tower behind it. I think that'll be fine. There we go. We'll still have plenty of high density, although there's not quite as much room here for it. You know what, actually, let's not do those there. We can have those be light commercial. I think they make a little bit of sense there. Actually, I think that makes a lot of sense there. And there's a lot of things I want to do to our agricultural district that I feel would make sense as well that I haven't yet done. Now, over here, we are going to want this to largely be restricted. We don't want to go all the way down there. That road is off limits for the most part. But these areas can happily be a bit big, and we'll have a couple of little shops there. We'll even have a little shop down on the corner here. Right about there, I think. Now, we're not going to have... actually, we will allow some larger residential areas right there. But these, otherwise, are all going to be fairly small and just working around the cul-de-sac there. I think that works out quite well. And we can have one right there as well. There we go. But for the most part, I actually want these to be high density. In fact, I want that one to be high density as well. And we'll build out the high density around here. And again, it'll be like this little oasis. These tiny little homes, just kind of nestled in behind the this wall of high density residential. Though along here, we're going to go back to low density. And there we are. And I believe we may have some trick-or-treaters. I will be right back. And I return. Oh, there are so many trick-or-treaters this year. Don't often get that many, which is a little bit surprising because where I live, I really would have expected that there would be loads of families, and it's generally a fairly nice area, so I was expecting more people to be willing to come out trick-or-treating, and haven't actually seen that many in the past couple of years that I've lived in this area, but wow. Having moved to this house, because obviously this is the first Halloween in the new place, there are so many. It's actually quite lovely. It's quite darling, to be perfectly honest. Right, let's get loads of things popped down here. We just had a tiny little girl. She could have only been like 5 or 6, and she kept dropping her witch's hat. Bless her. She was so excited to get the sweets. Oh, right. Going to need to pop down. Yeah, I think we're gonna focus on this being fairly low density all around here, all along the road. We'll leave a little bit here and there for some services. In fact, we'll have a little bit down here as well. You know what? Actually, we'll make them a little bit smaller. There we go. And that should be good enough, I think. There we are. Marvelous. I like it. Let's make sure you've got easy access as well. Just in case you've got trick-or-treaters on this street. They need a safe way to get around to the various houses. Right, we'll go for something about here. I'm actually going to turn off the grid so that we're completely free. So I would like it to swing around there. There we go. And maybe... No, I don't think we need any more connection than that, frankly. Perhaps a little connection back here, though, wouldn't go amiss. There we are. That would allow connection up there. That's lovely. Marvellous. In fact, loss of money, getting a little bit better. It still could be drastically improved by a lot of different things, frankly. And expending on a large upgrade to our fire department might be the wrong time for that. How are we doing with water? No, water's generally doing alright. We're not too far off that. Hopefully, this expansion over here will start to pick up pace. And with all of these new homes, we will actually see a boost towards a capital city, and then we will get the eco water treatment plant. The best water treatment plant there is. The eco water treatment plant needs to be connected with pipes to your city's water system. Purifies the sewage, making it very clean and ready to be let back into a body of water. I certainly hope so. I was, for a moment, a little bit concerned that I was going to say, I'm ready to be drunk. I was like, as much as I am impressed, I'm not sure I would partake of that particular beverage. We'll leave that kind of thing to the astronauts, frankly. Right, how's everything going down here? Generally speaking, not terribly bad. I mean, it's not terribly good either, but oh well. Now, one thing that a couple of people brought to my attention and said, well, you know, maybe you should add a couple of little shops here and there. Oh, what a lovely idea that was. I approve, because these would be little communities at the end of the day, little tiny communities. Maybe we'd even have a little shop right there. So let's go ahead and move the bushes back a bit and delete those trees. Alas, they're gonna have to go. We'll just push these a little bit around here or back. You can see how many, very many bushes I needed to use to create that boundary there. And then we'll build this out around here and then just double thick it so it looks a little bit more interesting there. We'll delete a couple of these. There we go. And also we are going to want a couple of little farmhouses, because currently we just have the farms themselves. We lack the houses that make the farms so worthwhile. We'll have little houses though. They won't be gigantic affairs. Let's see, where do we want a house or two? You know what? Sure, we'll have a little house there. Have a little house down here, maybe. Let's find a spot or two. A little house there. Actually, maybe a little bit of a larger house there. Over here, I think, sure, we'll go for a bit of a bigger house there. And let these develop over time, and we'll see what we can get. There we go. We've got our little corner shop. Oh, that's beautiful. I am actually really, really pleased with that. Well done for all the suggestions to do this, because I think that adds so much to the area. Let's pop down another little cornerstone, maybe a little bit of a bigger one back here, actually, and then we need to clear a path that it'll actually connect up along this road right about there. Oh no! Oops. Sorry, I wasn't done yet. There we go. Oops. My bad, shop owner. I'm sorry. Please come back. It was a mistake. It won't happen again, I promise. And we'll just fill in the hedge there around the back. In fact, there's no particular reason why we can't have a few little things popping up there. Now, I'll allow that to develop. In fact, have we got any of them developed? Yes, we do. Marvelous. It exits right here, though, so we're going to need to delete a couple of these little bits here and there, so they've got plenty of room. But I think that this is actually quite amazing. Well done for the suggestion. I deeply approve of this. Deeply approve. Right, well, we'll allow that to go on, because that's really finicky work. Right, we need a lot more commercial, apparently. Well, we can certainly help there. Let's get a little bit commercial popped down around here, shall we? There we go. Maybe a little bit more right there as well. We could also have a little bit around behind these buildings there. I think that would be quite grand. We are in the green, but it's not great. Not amazing, shall we say? What's the happiness like? Generally not terrible. Generally not bad at all. Also, apparently we were having some water problems. I don't see them myself, but I'm fairly certain we've more or less covered everything we need. So, whoever mentioned that in the comments, I do apologize. I have forgotten. It was a couple of days since I last read the comment. The comment stuck in my head, but not the name. The avatar stuck in my head, though. As I've mentioned lots of times, I'm terrible with names, and I'm not sure why. I don't even think that can be blamed on my dyslexia, but I can remember avatar images for years, much as I can remember phone numbers, unfortunately. My head is full of just useless phone numbers that no longer point to the people that I think they point to. It has been the source of many an awkward call in my past. But things are actually looking quite lovely over here, I've got to be honest. Very, very lovely indeed. But yes, thank you very much for the advice. It seems that it may have already been fixed. Maybe it was just a momentary glitch, but I have checked and I cannot see it. If it is still a problem, feel free to point it out in the comments that I'm a massive derp. You wouldn't be wrong, and tell me exactly where. For example, which district it is that I need to be looking in. That being said, time for us to expand out our main residential district over here to include all of this. There we go. That'll be lovely. Absolutely lovely. Right. I think, yeah, really our focus should be, for the time being, commercial interests. So I'm going to pull this back to the road, and I'm going to go ahead and expand out the road a little bit more in this direction. We're going to have a couple of shops and the like, just along here. Create a bit of a high street again. I'm quite fond of high streets, as you may have noticed. So we want this to come out to about there, I would say, and then we're going to have a reasonable curve, and then we're going to move into freestyle mode. Oh, actually, no, we're not going to need to. The railway is actually quite straight, which I am a little bit surprised by. We'll definitely branch off here, though, I think. Something along these lines, and then follow that down to about there. Whereas this road can carry on a little further. We might, for example, place a service down there, such as garbage collection, which would certainly be welcomed by our residents, I should imagine. Now, before we start laying the buildings, so I don't have to feel like a massive jerk for just deleting them constantly, we will lay down a couple of paths here and there that will allow our people to connect up. We'll have a path just sort of arcing through here and trying not to ruin too many potential shops there. There we go. And down here, we're actually going to lay this one a little bit more carefully. So something along those lines, I'm thinking. And then straight down. No. I would like it not to be... Ooh, Seeing that angle isn't going to quite go the way I want it to, which is a bit of a pain, but what I want is that. Oh, there we go. It does work as long as I go from the other direction. There we are. Something nice and simple there. And of course, there's going to be trees. Naturally. There we are. We want people to be surrounded in greenery. There we go. That should be enough for now. Maybe a couple down there. There's never enough for now. That's a lie. A lie. It's just that I feel self-conscious about how much time I'm spending on things that don't strictly matter in the grand scheme of things. And yeah, then I kind of pull back a little bit. But then I reassert my desire to make everything pretty, and it's all wasted. So yeah, we'll just have that for now, and we'll see where things go. How's our water situation? Water's actually fine. Electricity is fine. That's great. We've got a decent demand for commercial, so let's fulfill that first. I'm going to make these high density just along here and there. We'll have a couple of low density then, just kind of sprinkled within, and definitely on this side it'll be more of a low density kind of project there, I think. And again, more room for some services should we need them. There we are. That should be brilliant for my people here. Now, one thing I'm concerned about is they're not going to have enough leisure. No, they do not. Leisure is remarkably absent in this area. So let's correct that, shall we? Tourism and leisure, we don't want any of that. Plaza's not as keen. A park with trees, going to be huge. Yeah, I really haven't budgeted for that. We could have a little bouncy castle, though. And I'm thinking that might be actually quite nice. Could have a bouncy castle. Go on then, let's pop it here. I know I'm going to be getting rid of 2 buildings to do that, but it's right next to the park and everything. Oh, look at that. Look how many people are happy with that bouncy castle. My lord. You don't need anything else, just bouncy castles. I think I actually learned that lesson the last time I was playing as well. Right, I seem to remember myself saying exactly that. You only need bouncy castles. Let's see. Let's get a little Japanese garden down here, I think, as well. Something nice, something pretty. There we... Oh, wow. Yeah, that's really helping. And finally, to top it off, we'll have a carousel. Now, that one's a bit of a bigger structure. Where would be best? I would lose so many buildings if I placed it anywhere in here. So much density of those buildings, too. And yet... What's the zoning here? You know what? I think we can survive with one less shop. So sure, we'll have a little carousel down there. Look at that! Look at the amount of leisure time that my citizens have in this area. I am very, very happy with that. Very happy indeed. Though what I'm not too happy with is the fact that the carousel overlooks our recycling plants. Not that that's necessarily that bad. It is a recycling plant at the end of the day, not just a horrid landfill. Though even landfills can be made to look nice as long as there's a bit of a design to where you put them and how you do them. One of the landfills back in Wales that you could kind of see from anywhere. It kind of been modelled into the side of an old quarry that had been used to build one of the castles nearby. And as a result, it had this kind of like giant steps kind of feel up the side of a mountain. Yeah, it was landfill, but from a distance, it actually looked interesting. And I know that sounds really weird, and it is when you think about it. But nevertheless, it did kind of mask what it really was. In a bit of more of an interesting way. It wasn't immediately apparent that is just a place where we put our rubbish. Not that we really should have been using it that much. It's always better to recycle where possible. We'll just tidy this up a little bit. A couple of bushes here and there for some rabbit warrens to exist beneath. Maybe a badger set or 2. No, there shouldn't actually be any badgers even remotely close to a road. That is a recipe for quite the tragedy. I think that's okay though. Maybe a Llwynog or 2. Sorry, a hedgehog or 2 in there. Llwynog is the Welsh word for hedgehog. Before you think I'm mad, I am mad, but I'm not mad for calling it a Llwynog. All right, there we go. And yeah, I think that's fairly good. Maybe have a couple of little paths building off here around the place, here and there, hither and yon, you know the drill. Something like that. Maybe a giant rock just to I don't know why we use giant rocks. Probably because they're there and I can use them. And I don't have many other options, though the fact that all of these giant rocks are kind of facing the same way is a little bit on the kind of spooky side. It's like, you know, what kind of crazy ritual is going on there? But there we are. All well and done. Ooh, we're actually getting really close now. Really close. That's unfortunate. Where do you go? Oh, you put out the fire that you were there to sort out. Why? I must confess, I'm a little concerned. You don't get to leave until the fire's out. As a general rule, that is how I would prefer my fire department to operate. They don't go away from a fire until there is no more fire. Hopefully. I mean, okay, if you ran out of water, maybe. But I don't know if that was strictly the case in that particular instance. And did we actually just make it? Oh, we did! I was just having a look. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, the next one is Colossal City. And with that, we'll get the Ocean Thermal Energy Conversion Plant, the Nuclear Plant, the Floating Calf, and the Cargo Hub. Not particularly interested in those right now. But we can expand a little bit further, which is all well and good, I would say. Right, well, really do need to hook up with something out there. Now, which way would be fastest? I was initially thinking going that way would be fastest, but honestly, the more I look, we could actually be hooked up with the coast in one turn or so, or one more expansion or so. Yeah, let's start growing out in that direction. It's going to be a very odd shaped city, I know. It's kind of following the lay of the land around this mountain. Think of it like that. It's fine. It's fine when you find a reason for the weirdness. Right, although I would actually like to be able to push this back a little bit so I could expand this district much more, but, well, for now it's going to have to be the way it is. And once again, we are massively in debt. I suppose it's all the money I'm spending on our one stadium. Let's actually have a look. How many times have we won? We've won every single time. Wow, really? I'm going to put the ticket price up a little bit. That may actually reduce the odds of us winning, though. Maybe. I mean, it's doing pretty well so far, but I could drop this. I mean, we're getting nice big cash injections. It's a bit of a concern. How are things going down here, though? Going pretty well. It's not quite a sold-out event, to be fair. Still, I'm reasonably happy. Actually, Nesta, you can go up a little bit in price. How's the fan area over here? Looking quite good. I'm hoping all the students are enjoying this. We easily go out there, and the students that don't like that kind of music have got incredible double glazing and don't hear a thing. It's very unlikely. I appreciate it, but look, I'm not in direct control of the building regulations. Otherwise, I would absolutely make sure that double glazing could shield you from the sound of a nuclear bomb, much less a little festival. Alas, I do not control it, thankfully, because I'm fairly certain all my builders will go out of business very quickly. But, you know, it's give and take in this city, give and take. But given all of that, I think we can no longer really wait on placing down one of these. I wouldn't mind this nice big old fire station. Looks like the fire station that was not too far away that used to hold all the fireworks displays in the town I grew up in. We could pop it down there or have something a little bit closer. I think maybe having it down here would be a good idea. There we go then. Bump. Now that should make a bit of a difference. Yes. Yes, it does. My goodness, has that made a bit of a difference. And there we go. Loads of money coming in. Alright, well that's fantastic. Hazard. My lord, that is way too high though. I'm going to need a second one. I mean, genuinely, I'm going to need a second one because that is just way too bloody high. I'm sorry, shop, but you are the weakest link. Goodbye. Let's draw this out and we'll get another fire station over here. Right about there. That should be a huge help to our overall fire hazards. I'm not sure we're going to be placing down another one for quite some time. We are now hemorrhaging a lot of money. But on the plus side, we have made the lives of our citizens significantly less dangerous. But I think that's where we're going to be ending today's episode. We've expanded out a little bit. We've been dotting homes over here. And that's something I'm going to continue to work on here and there. I really like the idea of it. In fact, let's just go through and clear up a couple of things. Like you can have a front door that actually goes out there. That's lovely. Were there any others that have gone down? Let's have a look. There's the little house there, but that's actually connected up quite well. I've got a little house over here we need to connect. And we definitely need to give you access to the driveway. In fact, the driveway is the only part that we really need to reveal. So that works out quite nicely for us. I think I'm going to give you a tree in exchange for all of the bushes I just took away. There you go. Something really, really nice. I would actually... let me see. What kind of trees have we got? We've got... I want something that's more like a willow, really. Somewhat contemplative. I can't find one. We'll go with this one then. You can have this. Well, actually, you've got one over there, but you can have this one right there. That one's your tree. So your family can grow up in the shade of that tree, reading or just listening to their MP3 player and just generally just chilling out a little bit, building fond memories of home for when they leave. Which inevitably they always do, and so you've got to have these memories so that you always look forward to returning home, like during uni and things like that. So it's this safe, calm environment that you can go back to. In the next episode, we're going to be fleshing out this area. We're probably going to have a lot more offices around here just to give us a bit of a boost there. We could expand another commercial area around here, and that might be wise, whilst also expanding out Chestnut Park to have even more residential. We definitely need to get the tax income up. I mean, as far as things go, the city's doing relatively well for itself, especially with the events that keep going on. But I would like to build up our tourist attraction a little bit. But I think the next episode is going to heavily involve more bus lanes and other transport options as well. Fairview Heights is long overdue for an upgrade, and at this point Marigold Meadows needs one as well. So yeah, fun times with trains, buses, trams, possibly maybe even a blimp or two in the near future. But I do hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope to see you in the next, but until then, do take care and make sure you've got sweets for the trick-or-treaters, even though you'll probably see this after the fact.